Empower Black men to live extraordinary lives. Shatter the stereotypes. Power Black men. Power Black men. Shatter the stereotypes. Power Black men to live extraordinary lives. Shatter the stereotypes. Shatter the stereotypes. Power Black men to live extraordinary lives.
Welcome to Shatter the Stereotypes, where the intention is to empower Black men to live extraordinary lives. This show is based on the simple idea that every Black man is capable of creating inner peace, dynamic health, great relationships, and financial abundance. Therefore, we provide insights and strategies to educate, motivate, and inspire Black men to reach their full potential and create the life of their dreams. So if you're ready for some high-octane motivation and inspiration that supports and empowers you to live the life you were born to live, get ready to shatter the stereotypes so you can build a life that lights you up and positively impacts the world. So now, let's shatter the stereotypes with your host, Coach Michael Taylor.
Hello, and welcome to Shatter the Stereotypes, where my intention is to empower Black men to live extraordinary lives. You see, there's never been a shortage of Black male role models. There's only been a lack of exposure of those role models in mainstream media. So my intention is to showcase and highlight Black men who are doing remarkable things in the world. And my guest today is someone who is doing just that. I laugh because I love it. His name is Randall Thornton, but he's known as Big Swoll. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But he's a former NFL football player and a former wrestler. So we're going to have a conversation about his life, some of the things that he's done. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Randy Big Swoll to the show. Randy, how you doing, man?
Fine. How you doing, my brother? And thank you for having me on today.
All right. Well, I'm so glad you joined us. We ran across each other on Facebook.
Right.
And I said, man, there's a brother, I need to get him on the show. You've had an amazing life, amazing stories, some inspirational stuff. So before we talk about football, though, let's just start off with a few icebreaker questions. So first of all, tell us where you're from.
I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. 504, who that nation? Go Saints.
There you go. So tell us a little bit about your family, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. Tell us about your family.
Well, I'm the fourth child, of my mother. I never met my father. My father was murdered when I was 1 year old. So I never had the opportunity to know my father. Born and raised in Louisiana, by a single mother. I have, like I said, I have four other siblings. And went to West Jefferson High School. When I came out of high school, I was the #1 player in the nation. And I was all-American, all everything. And I accepted a scholarship. And I played for 4 years, and then I went on to play pro football.
There you go. Yeah, we're going to definitely talk about your career. So let's think about answer this question. So who is a woman that's inspired you to be who you are?
My mom.
Your mom. What's her name? Put her name out there.
Her name was Carol Marchand. And, right now I'm doing a documentary about my mental health issue and my battles. And I still remember when I was 6 years old, and my mom, she brought me to see my first psychiatrist. And I never forget when they asked me, what's going on in my head? What does things say in my head? And I never forget, I told the doctor I have a monster in my head. And I never see my mama cry so much, and it's stuff like that, She was going to nursing school, didn't have a lot of money, but she made sure that her baby seen a psychiatrist and was paying that $25, $30 an hour. And she didn't care how many hours it took, my mom, my mom's my heart and my soul.
Yeah, moms are our heart. You definitely said that right. And we definitely want to talk a little bit about mental health as we move through this interview, because that's an extremely important part of what this show is all about, because as Black men, it's important for us to have these types of conversations. So I'm glad you shared that, and we will go a little deeper into that in just a little bit. So now, do you like movies?
Yeah.
Name a movie that you like. What's a movie?
Shack. The Shack. The Shack.
Shack?
The Shack.
Oh, The Shack. Yeah.
I think if you are a man, a father, watch that movie and you figure how much of a man and father you are.
Yeah, that's a beautiful movie. I love the book.
Yeah.
I also read the book. Very good book. Very good movie.
Yeah, the book is better than the movie.
Yeah. Now, as a man who happens to be Black, are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future in general? Where do you fall?
I might get in trouble for saying this, but I don't see us getting any better because it's getting worse.
Okay.
We're not understanding what it means to love each other. In New Orleans, we had our 200 murder today, and it's Black on Black crime. And we're not understanding what we mean to love each other, to care for each other, to uplift each other, and see the young generation getting worse. They're getting better than me. And we as Black men have to come together and try to teach our young men how to be men. But the problem is nobody's teaching them how to be men. And then you try to talk to them too about being men, many just don't want to listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I started this platform, to give Black men an opportunity to learn from and listen to other Black men who have succeeded in life and who can share insights and inspiration in hopes to inspire the young men of the current generation.
Now, thank you for doing it. Thank you. I appreciate it. We need this.
I wrote a book, and the title of the book was The Cure for Onlyness, a Black Man's Guide to Joy, Passion, and Purpose. And in the book, I talked about the challenges we as Black men face sometimes when we're in positions where we're the only person of color. So I know you've had that experience in your life. So how did you navigate through that experience?
It was pretty hard because I was raised in Houston. When I was in elementary school, I went to all white school. And I still remember as a sixth grade, we had, back then we had career day. When you get in front of the class, you tell everybody what you want to be when you grow up. And I came in a football uniform and a wrestling outfit underneath. There's only 3 Blacks in the class out of 30. And so everybody was getting standing ovation to clap for what they want to be. So it was my turn. I said, I want to be a football player. And everybody laughed at me. They told me I was too skinny. My teacher told me I was too dumb to be a football player. And I never forget, I told him I was going to be a football player. And he told me to shut up. And I said, no, I'm going to be a football player. And he asked me, so you being disrespectful? Back then they had to paddle. A teacher can paddle you.
Right.
And he said, in front of the whole class, with my Saints uniform on, he bent me over and he hit me.
Oh, wow.
And he whispered in my ear, you still want to be a football player? I said, yes, sir. He hit me again harder. You still want to be a wrestler? Yes, sir. Around a 10th lick, he hit me so hard. And he said, you still want to be a football player? I was like, no, sir. I don't want to be a football player. No. And he told me, he's talking to me in my ear, go sit your Black ass down. And I went to sit down. I was in so much pain that I couldn't sit, And it's stuff like that, that made me stronger as a man, because one of my best pictures of wrestling, being with No Limit, I'm standing in the middle ring and I'm looking into the sky and I'm asking myself, is everybody in the 6th grade watching me now?
Wow.
Because I made it, I made it, man. And that's one thing I try to tell young men, period. Don't let nobody stop you from your dream, because you dreamed it. They don't understand that, I was skinny, but I had determination, I had dedication. And when I started calling myself Big Swoll when I was in the 6th grade. And I said, when I become a big old man, I'm gonna have big old muscles, I'm gonna have a horse, I'm gonna have one woman, and I'm gonna have a bunch of dogs. That was my dream.
what a great story. So let's talk a little bit about football. So you obviously knew at a very early age that you wanted to be a pro football player.
Yeah.
So when did you actually start playing?
I started playing when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
Because when I
like pee-wee football,
pee-wee park ball.
Okay.
And one thing the psychiatrist told my mom was to keep me busy because I was so active. So my mom had me in football, boxing, wrestling, karate. I was always active, you know. And I was just real good in football, but I was just so skinny, you know. And but I was always fast and I was always strong. You know, even though I was skinny, I was strong. And I still remember, you know, the kid playing running back, you know, just running over everybody, you know, and I just put tape around my pants because I was so skinny. I just put duct tape around my pants. And, you know, and I really didn't know that my career would be what it came out to be until my sophomore year. And I became a household name in New Orleans in football.
Now, sophomore in high school or sophomore in college?
Yeah. Sophomore in high school.
In high school, that's when you really stood out.
Yeah, because I made All-American my junior and senior year.
What position?
Defensive back.
Okay.
I played corner and safety at West Jefferson High School in
So
Harvard, Louisiana.
So tell us about going to U of H.
Well, my intention was to go to Nebraska or LSU.
What?
Yeah, that was my intention, but U of H came to my house one day and they were recruiting me heavily. And I always said I wanted to go to U of H, but when it came time, you know, to pick, you know, I was going to go to Nebraska, LSU, but U of H came to my house with $65,000 cash.
What?
And I took the $65,000. Yeah. So, you know, I could talk about it now because that was 1984. You know?
Yeah.
But they gave me $65,000 cash to go play.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you're in college, I mean, you were All-American going into college. So how well did you do in college, in the college ranks?
I made, you know, honorable mention in all conference. You know, I had a reputation of knocking people out. I didn't like University of Houston. You know, if Diddle had this transfer situation, I'd have transferred my sophomore year, my junior year. I didn't like the coaching staff. You know, I wasn't happy. You know, I love hitting people, you know, and anybody who knows me from University of Houston know I was known to knock out people. I knocked out, you know, Eric Metcalf was up for the Heisman Trophy. When we played Texas, I knocked Eric Metcalf out the game, and that was his Heisman Trophy. I just went out the door. And I've always had good games. You know, I was dealing with mental issues in college. And my senior year, Jack Pardee came to the University of Houston, and they just put so much pressure on me, you know, because they wanted to, you know, win. And I never forget, I went to my coach and I said, "Coach, something's wrong with me." I said, "Something's wrong with me mentally. I'm having problems." Instead of University of Houston and the coaching staff helping me, they benched me.
Oh, wow.
And they made it worse. And so my senior year, I had the worst game I ever had in my life, you know, at University of Houston. And the next 4 games, I was not on the team. And so I went back on the team, and I had the best season I ever had in my life. I was mad, I was frustrated, but the University of Houston cost me and my family millions of dollars because I didn't get drafted. The Oakland Raiders said they're going to take me in the 2nd round, and they kept telling me we're going to draft 2nd round. And on draft day, I didn't get drafted. So I signed, but when the draft was over, every NFL team wanted to sign me. So I signed with the Denver Broncos. They had Simon Fletcher, who's a teammate of mine at U of H. And I went there, and I never forget, they moved me. They said, "You're not going to play safety. You're going to play linebacker." Look, I'm just happy just to be in NFL. So the first day of camp, man, I did so good, and they offered me a 7-round pick contract. And I was like, yeah, you know, got a signing bonus, everything. And Mike Nolan, who's a famous coach now, you know, head coach Mike Nolan, Everybody knows him from San Francisco. He's a defensive genius. His very first coaching job in the NFL was teaching me how to play linebacker. And we would practice because it's different. I'm used to being in the back, now I'm up front taking on blocks. I'll never forget. One day he said, I was tired. It was hot. And he said, come on, Randy, I gotta push it. Come on. I said, Coach, I don't have no more in me. He said, I want to show you something. And every NFL team, they have a war room where they have the player's name, where they're from and what they had on the depth chart. He said, I want you to read your name. And this changed me for the rest of my life. He said, I want you to read your name. I said, Randy Thornton. He said, keep reading. Fast, smart, intelligent, love to hit, very aggressive. And they got to that last word, uncoachable.
Ooh.
Uncoachable. He said, you want to know why you went as a free agent? He said, your college coach called every NFL team and told them that nobody can coach you, that you was uncoachable, that sometimes you have mental issues. And for many, many years, I hate the university. I hate the university for that because I was just a kid wanted help. You could have helped me instead of hurting me. And I just started watching the University of Houston program last year because I had to forgive me in my heart. And I went on an alumni page one day, and all alumni knew who I was. They were telling me they don't want me in an alumni group because I'm not what the University of Houston wanted. I was a thug. I was a gangster. I was a dirty football player. But I'm like, well, you wasn't saying that when I was knocking people out. Y'all wasn't calling me no thug and no gangster when I was putting butts in them seats, and people came to see, Randy Thornton. But it's a lesson because it's like I tell young kids today, when you go to college, you use them. Don't let them use you. You take advantage of that. I don't care if you go to summer school every year. You go to summer school, take every class, join every club, just get active. And so many young men, that's what we focus on is football. And we ain't worrying about the education because we think we're gonna play football forever.
Yeah.
Not true. Not true.
Now, I'm curious because you hear a lot about the difference between playing in college versus playing in the pros. Because obviously in the pros, guys are faster, they're stronger, it's a little different. Mm-hmm. So how difficult was it for you to make that transition from college to pro?
It was pretty easy for me because in college you had to go to class and stuff. In the pros, you don't have to go nowhere. You can go to practice.
Okay.
And like I say, I was so a lot of people, they need that structure. They need somebody pushing them. In the NFL, is not like that. When you're in college football, like Ricky Williams, Ricky Williams never went to a class, so his running back coach had to come get him every day. Wake him up, make him go to class. NFL ain't like that. If you don't show up, you just get fined or you get cut. So it's different. I think what hurt us the most is that it's Black men. One day you are a kid with $100 in your bank account, and you get drafted in the first, second round. You are an instant millionaire, and nobody's taught you about money. Nobody's taught you about finance. No one told you about investments. No one's talked to you about life insurance. Nobody talked to you about health insurance. Your agent runs your whole life. I didn't know how to pay a bill until I was 26 years old because my agent pays everything. He handled my banking account. He handled everything. And it's hurting us because, we don't understand. Everybody was saying, how this guy makes millions and millions of dollars and he's broke? Because we don't understand money.
Yeah.
We don't understand finance. And that's hurting a lot of NFL football players.
Yeah.
Athletes, period. Baseball, basketball, track, just general, as African-American athletes.
Yeah. Now, Looking back, as you think about your NFL career, can you think of something you would do differently then, that, knowing what you know today, would you have done something different?
Yeah, I would not have been a party person. I understand how important sleep is. I understand how much how important rest is. I mean, I was a party man. I was a player. Every Thursday, Friday, night and all that. But now I understand how important sleep. I'm a sleep apnea advocate, and I understand the importance of sleep. And I didn't understand this until I was like in my 40s. How you see all these people drinking energy drinks. Energy drink. Put the energy drink down and just get some rest, get some sleep.
Right.
And if I was to change anything, I would have been more of a person, a homebody. Like he gonna get mad at me, like a Steve Atwater.
So as you think back over your career in the NFL, do you have a favorite moment in the NFL that you think about and just makes you smile?
No, because I was always injured. I was always injured. You have to remember, I was a defensive back, and they moved me to linebacker. So I went from 220 to 250. And the 3 years I was in Denver, I tore my ACL.
Ooh.
My first year I broke my hand, and they put me on injury reserve. Next 2 years I made the team, and I always got hurt. I always got hurt. And then because you got to remember, my body wasn't used to carrying that weight.
Yeah.
And then I go play Canada. I go to Canada, and they move me to defensive lineman. I'm 330 pounds, and I've had total 6 ACL knee surgeries,
Wow.
and I've had over 19 scopes on my knees. I don't, a lot of people like the NFL is full of shit. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. I get $600 a month from the NFL, total disability. That's it.
Wow. 600.
Now, they say that I'm 1 year shy to getting my full benefits. So I call a lady, I'd say, look, I had all these knee surgeries, hand surgeries playing for Denver Broncos, Oh, but you don't qualify. Yeah, I might not qualify, but you took money out my check every damn time. The Player Association, I can't tell you how many concussions I had. I still remember playing University of Houston like it was yesterday. We playing Arkansas. This is the Old Southwest Conference. And I made a tackle, and it was George Foreman's nephew, one of the Foreman boys. And I hit him, bam! And I was just dizzy. In the very next play, the running back ran right past me. And my coach said, Randy, why you make the tackle? I said, Coach, I ain't see him.
Wow.
I didn't see him. So I've been having concussions, for many, 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 many years. I mean, even playing, getting rocked, middle school getting rocked, But see, back then, he didn't say nothing because the coaches were benching, suck it up, come on, you can suck it up. And, so I'm being honest with you. I don't talk too much about my NFL because, my football period, I like it, but I don't love it. I'm not in love with it.
All right, so let's switch a little bit. So you had the football career, and now you moved to pro wrestling, the real big Swoll. How in the world did you get involved with wrestling?
Let me tell you, this is funny. You know about French's, right? Chicken.
Uh-huh.
Well, they had the French's fried chicken near U of H and TSU.
Right.
So it was my first, it was my rookie year. I went back to U of H, to see friends and stuff. So I'm in French's. The old red man walks in. Ernie Big Cat Ladd.
Ernie Ladd.
Oh, yeah. The TSU then.
Okay.
And Ernie Ladd, boy, you're pretty, brother. Boy, you pretty. You thought about getting into wrestling? And I said, no, sir. He said, you should go into wrestling. He said, if you ever go into wrestling, he gave me a phone number, tallest person. I said, well, I'm playing pro football now. He said, well, even in the future, you ever get in wrestling, And so after I got traded to New York Giants. I went to New York Giants, and I basically asked them to cut me because my knee was so bad. I told them to release me. And so I was like, what am I gonna do now? So I called up Brad Riggins, who trained the World Warriors. He trained Brock Lesnar, Big Van Vader, the Steiner brothers. So I went to his camp, and I lived in Minnesota, and he sent me to Japan. I started wrestling for New Japan. Back to the wrestling fans, I did the last ever AWA wrestling match. The very last match, I was on the card, and they sent me to Japan, and I was over, doing stuff in Japan and training. And one day I got a phone call, and it was like, "Hey man, you don't play Canadian football?" I said, "Yeah," but I said, "I'm 330 pounds, we're full of muscles. I mean, huge." It's like, "Come on, we'll put your defensive lineman." And so I went back and I played the gold miners and the surge of the world leading Canadian league. So Big Cat Ernie Ladd got me into wrestling school. Plus, I went to when I was in wrestling school, I went to the same school with Kurt Hennings, Mr. Perfect. And so all those guys used to come by, Animal and Hawk and Jesse Ventura. They'll come back to the school, trainers and helpers. And so when I made my big move to go to World Championship Wrestling, I contacted Kurt Hennig and Brad Riggins, and that's how it all started. But it all started because we were so popular. Because a lot of people don't know, I'm Big Swoll from No Limit Records. I worked for Master P, and I was his personal bodyguard and his personal trainer. And so one day, me and Master P, we are in the hotel, and Conan and Rey Mysterio talked about the About It. And that was our biggest song with No Limit Records was About It. So I looked at P, I said, "P, I can get us into wrestling." He was like, "What?" I said, "Man, I can get us into wrestling. I can make some phone calls." "Man, you don't know nothing about that. We don't know how to get Riggins the next day." And I told Brad, that the guy who I'm working for, the famous rapper, and he started the song About It. And they flew me to Atlanta, me the No Limit attorney. So you got to picture this, okay? I walk into the room. There's Kevin Nash, Dusty Rhodes, Macho Man Randy Savage, all of them in one room. And I'm like a little boy. I'm like, wow. So when they told me that Dusty Rhodes was gonna be our promoter, oh man, I flipped. They made a little skinny boy dream come true.
Now, so in terms of wrestling, now with the football, you had a bunch of injuries. So how did your body hold up in wrestling?
I only did things I know I can do.
Okay.
I didn't jump off no ropes. I didn't do a lot of jumping.
Okay. So it didn't take a big toll on your body like football.
No, because I didn't do all the crazy moves. I didn't walk no ropes. I didn't jump up and down. I did a lot of power stuff, which it came back and haunt me. I did power moves like lifting, punching, stuff like that. And I stood away from the knees. Even when they wanted to do knee stuff, they did it on somebody else. No, you're not touching my knees. No, don't touch my knees. So, they had big plans for us in WCW until my ex-boss, Master P, screwed it up. So he made the ultimate mistake.
Now, so I'm assuming that meeting that you had with all those big wrestlers was probably one of your favorite moments
Oh
as
yeah,
a wrestler?
yeah. I was like a little boy. I mean, because you got to remember, Dusty Rhodes, man. I mean, that's mid-south wrestling to me.
Yeah,
Him and Big Cat Ernie Ladd and all those, man. I was like, yeah, that was a joy. That was a joy.
there you go.
It was.
So speaking of wrestling and speaking of the body,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about, you've had some health challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Your neck,
Mm-hmm.
your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that injury to your neck. What happened?
I was working at, but I was about to sign a major deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I was in the gym, and I was a week away of signing a contract. And I was gonna go to Japan and start touring. And I mean, I'm in the best shape of my life, big, strong, And I go into the gym and I do this exercise that I did every day. And I woke up, I was in the hospital, the whole machine fell on me. I woke up in the hospital, and the funny part is they say I drove myself to the hospital. I don't remember, because I had a concussion. I hit my head so hard, I'm deaf in my right ear. I'm deaf. I hit the back of my head, and I had what they call an ear concussion, and I'm totally deaf in my right ear. And I got two vertebrae discs in my neck, and I got two fusions. And it's just a freak accident. I was in the gym, and that was God's plan.
Wow. But I guess the amazing thing is, with all the setbacks that you've had, yet you still maintain a positive attitude. Yeah. How do you do that?
God is real. I think about things I did in my life, in my past, and I'm still here. This is one thing I hope just get out to your viewers. What I'm about to say, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Please stop drinking them energy drinks. Stop drinking Red Bulls. I was a fanatic, and to the day I died, that is the reason why I have heart issues, because I used to drink 3 of them a day. Popping Red Bulls. And I remember, you got to remember, I used to work out 4 hours a day. I'm big Swoll. I had the muscles and everything. And man, I'll drink the energy drink, and I'll never forget, man, when I be working out, I start shaking. My heart was beating, feel like my heart was about to come up my chest. And I had to calm down. And drink another Red Bull. For energy, taking the fat burners to lose weight, to stay ripped. And I to the day, I leave this earth, I think that caused my heart issues.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with eliminating those energy drinks. They're not good for you long term.
I've seen women buy the kids energy drinks, Red Bulls, 5, 6-year-old kids. I'm like, you can't say nothing because I'm not the parent, And let me tell you something. You would never ever see me without a smile, never, because I have friends of mine that tell me to this day, teammates and friends, and they always ask, man, why are you smiling? You go to my social media page, every picture I'm smiling. And I'm like, because I'm here. I'm here. Like I told you when I was a little boy, I wanted to be a pro football player. I wanted to be a wrestler. I wanted to have horses, and I wanted to have one woman. And that's what happened. And guess what? I live a blessed life.
Yeah. Now,
but I just wish that, some things, I want to share something with you. When I broke my neck, and I hope I don't take too much time, but this is important for me to tell you. When I broke my neck, when you go through a lawsuit, people follow you. They got people, private eyes and stuff following. So I couldn't work out. I lost my career. So I went to court, and they only paid my medical bills. I went to a conservative parish, and it wasn't gonna make no black man a millionaire. And my attorney was white, and the law firm was white, and it was like, this is the first time I've ever seen racism like this. So I went ahead and went over and shook the guy's hand. Man, you're a good attorney. So I have a friend of mine who's a multi-millionaire named Michael Gray, and he's a very successful businessman in New Orleans. And Michael owns an insurance company, and he's the president of the Insurance Company Association of Louisiana. So he couldn't talk to me, about my case. So he picked me up one day, the next day, and he said, Randy, come on, we're going for a ride. My brother, I had 9 teeth in my mouth. I had 9 teeth. I was on so much medication that my teeth were falling out. So he drive me to Hammond, Louisiana. So we go eat. The only thing I could eat is shrimp and grits, shrimp and eggs, because my teeth. So he said, Randy, I want to show you something. I said, what, Mike? So we start riding. He said, see that Coca-Cola building? Yeah, Mike. He said, I own that. You see that grocery store? Yeah, Michael, I own that. We ride past the airport. You see the airport? I said, yeah, Michael, I own 80% of that. So we riding. This is a white man now. We riding. And you got to remember, I have horses, and I was about to sell my horses, everything, because, I didn't get the money. So we pull up at this farm, and it's the prettiest thing I've seen in my life. White pole picket fence, brand new barn, 3 houses, helicopter labs, fishing pond, shooting range. And Michael looked at me and said, Randy, he said, I want you to move your horses here and your family here. And I was like, what? He said, I want you to move your horses and your family here. He said, you got 2 houses. He said, but the big house, the mansion is where his family's there. But, they don't come there. And he said, you got control of everything. And I said, everything? He says, 400 acres. You can use anything you want. You can use motorcycles, trucks, tractors, you can use it. And he said, I'm gonna charge you $20 a year. And no light bill, no water bill, took care of everything. So I looked at him, and please, I want you to listen to check this out. I looked at him, I said, Michael, I said, why are you helping me? And he said, I'm gonna tell you a story about a man named Swoll. He said, Swoll was doing real good, but he ran into some hard times. He fell into a hole. He said, so when Swoll was walking in the woods, he fell into a deep, deep hole. And he's crying for help. And this banker walks by, and Swoll says, man, I need to get out this hole. And the banker said, look, here's my card. Whenever you get out this hole, you call me. So he threw the card in the hole. So Swoll is howling, and a doctor walked by, and Swoll tell a doctor, I'm in this hole, I can't get out. And the doctor said, well, here's some prescriptions. When you get out this hole, go get the prescription. So a third man walked by, a common man, and Swoll is howling, help, I need help. I'm in this hole, I can't get out. And the common man jumped in the hole with him. And Swoll said, man, what's wrong with you, crazy? Now we both stuck. And Michael looked me in my eye and he said, I know the way out. I know the way out to get you out of this hole. And when I hear people talk about black and white issues, I tell people a white man saved me. Seriously, he saved me. He did stuff for me that no man has ever done. He made sure that I got up on my feet. He was, and he asked me, he said, I got to remember, I had 9 teeth in my mouth. He said, Randy, what's the first thing I can do for you? I said, man, I'd like to get my teeth fixed. Hold on, horse. Made a phone call. He said, I want you to pick this address tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Don't be late. I said, okay. So I go see this dentist. This is a very upscale, I'm talking about upscale dentistry. And I walk in there, I said, I was talking like this because I didn't want to see my teeth. I said, my name's Randy Thornton. Oh, come on back here. We're ready for your house. Come on, we're waiting for you. So I go back there, and they got these nurses and doctors all around me. They're looking at my teeth, and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. We're gonna put implants right here. We're gonna do that. I'm like, hey, hold on. I'm like, y'all do know I'm on Medicaid, right? How much are we talking? He said, we're talking around $60,000. I said, huh? We're looking at around $60,000. And I said, my insurance gonna cover that? He said, no. He said, Michael gave his credit card and told me max it out.
Wow.
I'm like, what? He told me max it out. And he gave me life, man.
That's amazing.
And this smile, and the people always ask me, are those your teeth? Yeah, I own them. And that story just, the story is just so relevant when we talk about Black men, because we got to help each other out the hole. Stuck in the hole, and instead of and I get tired of people telling me, "Oh, I know Master P's helping you. I know Master P." No, he's not.
Yeah.
The brother ever called me not one time. I was his personal bodyguard. I've had 2 heart attacks. He's never called me. He's never called my family. He's never called my daughter, my mom. Hey, do y'all need bread? Y'all need water? We everybody talking about how rich people are now. They're doing good. Help me. Come on, help your boy in them out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be your boy.
There you go. Now, you and I met on Facebook in a men's group.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
I said, you and I met on Facebook in a men's group. So I'm curious, how long have you been a part of that men's group on Facebook? How long have you been a part of that?
2 weeks.
Okay.
2-3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for a group to be part of, a men's group. So, we got to make sure as men that we take care of our family, not only financially, but health issues also.
Right. And that's, it's extremely important, especially as Black men, that we have spaces where we can come together and have these types of conversations. That's exactly why I launched the Shatter the Stereotypes movement, because I want to provide Black men with a space to really address and deal with some of the issues that we deal with. And you kind of blinked out on me, but I've actually written, 4 books specifically for Black men.
Oh, I'll check you out.
Yeah.
I'll research you.
So I've been doing this for a while, and again, the whole point is to share, some positive information for brothers. Let them know that it's important. Now, and with that being said, as we start to wind down here, you posted on that Facebook group about your wife and how important your marriage was. So tell us a little bit about that post.
Wow. That's my queen. It's hard to believe that some people go through life and never experience love and never experience someone who really loves you and have your back. And I remember one time, like I said, I had 9 teeth in my mouth, and she kissed me one day. And I said, girl, you're so nasty. And never forget, she said, I love you. Wow. If you had no teeth in your mouth, I love you. And you got to remember, we've been together eating caviar. We've eaten bologna sandwiches together. We ride horses together. We fish together, and we've cried together. And I hear men sometimes, bashing a woman and stuff like that. Oh, there's no good woman out there for me. But that's not true. Because you got to find somebody that's compatible with you.
Right.
My wife likes horses. She likes fishing. She likes dogs. You know, she let me do what I want to do. We don't fuss. We don't fight because I have one rule in my house. Anything she says, she's right. If we ride down the street and I know I got to turn right, and she say turn left, I turn left anyway, just so I can show her, hey, man, it's back over here. And like I say, it's so important for us to have someone to have our backs. And like I say, it's sad that we go, our young men are learning how to treat women from music videos and movies and stuff like that. And that's not the way you do it, my wife likes little bitty things like a card, a flower, bring home a donut, a cinnamon roll. And a lot of people think that you have to buy your woman, and that's not true. Right. You have to buy your woman. This is this little bitty thing. I mean, when we go out, she likes to hold my hand, and yeah, man,
yeah. So
there wouldn't be a big Swoll if it wasn't for Miss Swoll.
There you go. And again, that's another reason why I do this show, because we as Black men have to shatter the stereotypes about what it means to be a man. Because as you mentioned, we listen to music videos and watch television, and these images of Black men interacting with women are usually pretty negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important for us as Black men to talk about and to share. Mm-hmm. For example, I've been blissfully married for 19 years. My wife is my heart. I mean, she's just amazing. And like you, if I had no teeth, she'd still be there. I know that. That's right. My wife. And there's a running joke that we tell, which is a true story actually, that on our first date, I took my wife to Pizza Hut. And my wife had a bunch of really wealthy friends, and they told her she shouldn't be with me because I took her to Pizza Hut. And she's like, no, I'm not worried about his stuff. I just want to get to know him. And she didn't listen to what they said. And like I said, we've just been blissfully married for 19 years, been together 21. So
I'm going on 28.
There you go.
28.
Yeah. And so, as men, we have to have that conversation of the importance of nurturing our relationships.
Right.
Understanding that the most important aspect of our lives, other than our connection to something bigger than ourselves, should be our spouse.
Correct.
That should be, and like I said, my wife is everything to me.
Right.
Just
what I think our problem is, though? Can I tell you our problem? So many young men are raised by single mothers, and you can't teach somebody how to be something if they've never seen it.
Yeah.
How can you teach a boy to be a man and he's never seen a man before? Mm-hmm. He doesn't know that a man come home, pay bills, cut grass, make sure the house is protected, take out the garbage. A lot of guys don't see that because they don't know. And then it's just like, I say this all the time to people. Someone taught me how to play football, but no one's ever taught me how to be a man. Someone taught me how to box and use my fist. Nobody's ever taught me how to be a man. Someone taught me how to wrestle. No one's ever taught me how to be a man. Mm-hmm. And I live by that. Yeah. We got to start teaching them to be men.
Yeah. And one way we can do that is through conversations like this. Mm-hmm. And I'm a huge proponent of books, being willing to learn and to read, because I didn't have a relationship with my father, but I made a commitment that I was going to be a good dad.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I read books. I went to seminars. I learned how to be a good dad, even though I didn't have one. So being a great father isn't genetic. It's learned behavior. Anybody can learn if you're willing to.
Right.
And so as Black men, we have to learn how to be great fathers.
Right.
That's so important. Yeah. So as we wind down, Big Swoll, I want to now give you an opportunity to, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way they can do that?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a very, very private person.
Okay.
And because being in the hip hop world is not the best thing that people can contact.
I got you.
Because one thing you'll know is that you'll never see my family on social media. Because if somebody want to do something to me, they're gonna go to my family. They're not gonna come to me. Okay, it's sad, but that's just the way the world is. I'm always on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, and I'm always talking about sleep apnea. I'm always talking about mental health issues. You're not gonna go on my page, women pee popping. That's not my goal. My goal is to be an advocate. And man, I'm gonna tell you something. What God told me, tell you. When I get healthy and we get this COVID stuff right, me and you need to go on the road and do some. No, seriously, because I'm gonna tell you something. To me, it's not about money. It's about saving and saving souls. Because, I'm listening to when people hear me talk, and the first thing they say is, I didn't know that. Really? I didn't know that. I didn't. Well, we must tell them, and for what, something that you didn't know, I was a motivational speaker for 20 years. I worked for the FBI, the DEA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I worked for the Department of Education, and I would travel all around the United States, doing speaking. And my goal in life is never to be rich. I don't want no Bentley. Just give me my pickup truck. I'm happy. Just give me a house. I don't need no big gates and all that in front of my house. None of that. God gonna bless me when I get to heaven because I want to be one of his servants. Like I say, I never do anything for money. Just like my documentary and my children's book, my woman empowerment book. My children's book when it comes out, the coloring book and the book about kids with mental health issues. I'm donating 100% of the profit to the Children's Hospital. I'm not keeping the money, and so I'm different. I'm different than my boss because I'm not one of the persons. Look at me, hey, look, I'm doing this. I do stuff behind the scene, and I do it that way because I want to be blessed. And but please, anybody that want to talk about sleep apnea, mental health issues, go to Facebook, send me a message, and I answer all my fans and friends, seriously. And I'll be happy to help anyone, and especially for sleep apnea, because so many Black men are dying from sleep apnea. And it's a problem that we need to get together. And to the men out there, if you snore or you waking up multiple times at night and you gasping for air, go take the test. Because we're losing too much for something that could be cured.
Yeah, and that's health in general. As Black men, we've just got to take care of ourselves physically. We must do a better job physically, taking care of our health. Going to the doctor once a year minimum to get a checkup. Taking care of the issues that we're there. So that's extremely important. And of course, as you just mentioned, our mental health. Being willing to deal with our mental health, that's so critical, and that's why I do what I do. Like yourself, I'm in service. My job is to share information, share wisdom, to help make people's lives better. That's what I'm committed to doing, and that's what I do. So, with that being said, I want to give you an opportunity now for any closing thoughts you want to share with the audience. Anything that's on your heart to put out there, just go for it.
I want to tell you something that my grandfather told me. My grandfather lived to be over 100 years old, and he was one of the original members of the Black Panther tank battalion under General Patton. And he used to always tell me, he said, never tell someone something to make them feel good because you hurt them in the long run. Tell them the truth and you save their lives.
Yeah.
And I live by that. Just don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Yep. Tell me what I should hear.
Yeah, that's a powerful message. Powerful message. Well, Big Swoll, it has been my absolute pleasure, man, hanging out with you for an hour. Thank you for showing up for Shattering Stereotypes, because you're definitely shattering tons of stereotypes. I appreciate you, man. I wish you continued success in everything you do.
Thank you, my brother. You too. And when I'm ordering your books for Amazon. So I believe in supporting, and I don't want nothing free. That's like I tell people, if you want to support Black business, pay Black prices. Buy it.
Well, if you order from my site, you'll get an autographed copy.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Send
it to me.
Go to
send it to me, please.
creationpublishing.com.
Okay.
I'll put it.
Well,
I'll put
thank
it
you
on,
very much.
I'll put it on Facebook for you.
I appreciate it, my brother. Thank you very much. And look, to all the Black men, we thank you. We praise you. Thanks for leading us in this direction. And it's been an honor.
Absolutely. All right. So Big Swoll, it's been my pleasure, my brother. Again, peace to you. Continued success in everything you do. So this has been another episode of Shatter the Stereotypes. We appreciate Big Swoll hanging out. He got a powerful message to take care of ourselves and make sure that we're taking care of our health mentally and physically. We'll see you next episode. Take care.